All right, just wanted to do a quick video on this weathering project I just finished up. This is my, I just got it about 2 weeks ago. I was out in Nebraska and I visited Spring Creek Model Trains out in Deschler, biggest, most extensive train store I've ever been to. Those guys are great, very helpful. They have everything you need right there in the store. So I picked up this Atlas Santa Fe-8 40BW N scale because I've been looking for it because you still see some of these hooked up with the BNSF locomotives. You know, Santa Fe was absorbed by BNSF, but still 30 years later, not all of the Santa Fe engines have been painted and converted into the BNSF orange with the BNSF logo. In fact, when I was driving back from Deschler back to Lincoln on I-80, where right before you get to the BNSF yard in Lincoln, the tracks get really close to 80. I saw one of these, so they are still in service. So I really wanted one on my layout. I really wanted it to look like it was 40, 50 years old, really beaten down and weathered, because it had just been on the road for so many years. So this is what I did. Pretty happy with it. Get some better lighting here, but came out really well. So how did I do this? Combination of a couple different things. Most of this was done with the airbrush. This is my old Testors Aztec airbrush that I've been using for over 25 years. I love this thing. This dial converts it from a single action to a dual action airbrush. It's a cheap airbrush. I never thought it would last me this long, but it's been great. So using that coupled with, again, my favorite paints, the Vallejo Model Air. First I hit it with a white wash. So this would be the white Vallejo white, 71.001, heavily diluted with the Vallejo airbrush thinner, down to the consistency, really like milk, maybe a little bit beyond milk. So hit the whole thing to really tone down that Santa Fe red, really got it looking, very, very faded. That was the look that was what I was going for, is the faded look. Not only for the red, on the cab, but the Santa Fe lettering. And then it was time to do some, burned metal, basically, back on the radiators and the fans. And really, the Tamiya panel line accent color works great. It just flows so well into these nooks and crannies and crevices. You just touch, those surfaces, and it just flows right in. So this stuff's been great. Use that back on the vents, the grills, and the radiators, kind of here in the back. And then, started hitting the trucks and the fuel tanks and the underbody and even the sides, again using a very thin Vallejo Model Air black. That's the 71.057 with a little bit of the Vallejo Air dark sea gray, 71.053. Again, really watering it down, thinning it down with the Vallejo airbrush thinner, getting it to basically this consistency. It has a consistency or viscosity, basically, of water. And just, using this light touches on the airbrush, just pulling the trigger barely back, just to kind of really hit localized areas around the grills and radiators and kind of in this area, wherever there's heat that's burning the metal, leaving soot, leaving ash. So couple of layers of that, building everything up slowly in layers. And then we get into the final touches, which is the pastels. And again, using a couple different types of brushes and using the grimy black, the highlight white, to really fill in where you might have missed or you're not happy with what the airbrush has done. Kind of also blends in everything the airbrush has done, especially kind of on the Santa Fe lettering, just taking some of the pastels and just gently, rubbing it in there. It really kind of fills in any splatter, any microscopic or very fine splatter that the airbrush might leave. A little extra detail there with the orange. The snowplow. Used some rust pastels along with some burnt umber oil paint, thinned with rubbing alcohol to really make it look like it's rust stained. That came out pretty well. And yeah, just worked around and just taking your time and working in layers. So stopping, taking a look, letting things dry, coming back after a few hours or the next day just to see if you want to add a little more, or maybe you've done enough, because it's easy to add. It's almost impossible to take it off. So, yeah, so pretty good. I got the trucks, a little bit of grime, a little bit of rust. Didn't go too crazy because I was using some prototype photos that, you know, the trucks weren't too bad on those prototype photos. So anyways, that's it. And hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you learned something from that. I'm going to get it on the layout. Maybe I'll do a video of it on the layout. And hope you guys enjoyed that. And as always, thanks for watching. Bye.